Hi, I would like to share with you the scripture, actually two bits of scripture. First part is from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 26, starting with verse 14. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, What will ye give me, and I'll deliver him unto you? And he covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. From that time he saw opportunity to betray him. Now, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying unto him, Where will you that we prepare for you to eat the Passover? And he said, Go into the city to such a man, and say unto him, The master says, my time is at hand. I'll keep the Passover at your house with my disciples. And the disciples did as Jesus had appointed them, and they made ready the Passover. Now when the evening was come, he sat down with 12, and as they did eat, he said, Verily I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. And they were exceedingly sorrowful, and began everyone to say unto him, Lord, is it I? And he answered and said, He that dips his hand with me in the dish, the same shall betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man, is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? And he said unto him, You have said. Now the second part of scripture I want to go to is John John chapter 13, starting with verse 18. I speak not to I speak not of all I speak not of you all. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled, he that eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. Now I tell you before it comes, that when it is come to pass, you may believe that I am he. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that receives whomever I send receives me, and he that receives me receives him that sent me. When Jesus had thus said, he was troubled in spirit, and he testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. The disciples looked one on another, doubting of whom he spoke. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples whom Jesus loved. Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spoke. He then, lying on Jesus' breast, says unto him, Lord, who is it? And Jesus answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sop, Satan entered into him. And then said Jesus unto him, That you do quickly. Now no man at the table knew for what intent he spoke this unto him. For some of them thought, because Judas had a bag, that Jesus had said unto him, Buy those things that we have need of against the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. He then, having received the sop, went immediately out, and it was night. Now, now those bits parts of scripture that I've just read, I, I'm I'm showing the times when Judas Iscariot was basically called out by Jesus as the one who was going to betray him. I mean, in the Gospel of Matthew, it he Jesus says is the one who dips with me in a dish. Talking about the Passover cedar dish. That he says that the same shall betray me, and eating from the same dish communally is basically a sign of friendship among Jews, and when it comes to the Passover, and just and in the Gospel in the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "To whom I shall give a morsel of bread or a sop," is that's the person that's going to betray me, and it turns out to be Judas Iscariot, and no surprise there. I mean, Judas. I mean, Judas Iscariot betrayed Jesus twice, and I mean, well, not twice, but I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Why did Judas Iscariot betray Jesus? I mean, Judas. This is his answer. Judas Iscariot's betrayal of Jesus is one of the most mysterious and debated events in the Bible. The Gospels give us a few reasons, but they don't all point to one single motive. Here are some of the main perspectives. First of all, there's greed. Most straightforward explanation comes from Matthew 26, 14, 16, where Judas goes to one of the chief priests and agrees to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. This has led many to believe that greed was a driving factor. I mean, and we have Matthew 26:15. What are you willing to give me if I deliver him to you? And they counted out to him 30 pieces of silver. I mean, John also portrays Judas as a thief who stole from the disciples' money bag. That's in John 12:6, adding weight to this interpretation. Second is satanic influence. Luke and John both mentioned that Satan entered Judas, implying demonic influence. I mean, Luke 22:3. Then Satan entered Judas, called Iscariot, one of the 12, and John 13:27. As soon as Judas took the bread, Satan entered into him. This doesn't remove Judas's responsibility, but suggests that spiritual darkness played a role. And three is disillusionment or political motivation. Some scholars and theologians believe Judas may have been disillusioned with Jesus' mission. If Judas expected a political Messiah that would overthrow Rome, Jesus' talk of suffering and death may have frustrated him. Betraying Jesus could have been a way to force his hand or express disappointment. And fourth is fulfillment of prophecy. The Gospels also frame the betrayal as a fulfillment of Scripture. I mean, there's this Matthew 26:24. The Son of Man will go just as has been written about him. I mean, Psalm 41:9 is often cited. Even my close friend, someone I trusted who shared my bread, has turned against me. So in this sense, Judas' act fits into God's sovereign plan. Now, thing about Psalm 41:9, that was David talking about his friend of Ahithophel, who in the book of 2 Samuel, he was David's advisor and seemingly close friend, and it turned out that he ended up siding with Absalom, and when Absalom incited sedition against his father, David, and he turned people of Israel against David and sent him away, and just and David basically says, even my close friend, someone I trusted who shared my bread, has turned against me. Or in some translations, has lifted up his heel against me. Just a little bit of trivia. Okay, 5, and the final one is regret and remorse. After the betrayal, Judas deeply regretted what he did and tried to return the money. This is Matthew 27:3-5, even saying, "I've sinned by betraying innocent blood." This shows he may not have fully grasped the consequences of his actions, or he didn't expect Jesus to actually be condemned. So in short, Judas likely had multiple overlapping motives: greed, disappointment, spiritual vulnerability, and his actions fulfilled divine purpose even though he bore full responsibility, which is really heavy stuff. I mean, so in in those in, in those scriptures, we pretty much see that that Ju, that Judas had a role to play in betraying Jesus, and and even though he was chosen before the foundation of the world to betray Jesus, he's he was still responsible for his sins. I mean that's something Calvinists don't. I mean, don't fully grasp. I mean, it's like why do why are people chosen for salvation is in why are some people chosen for salvation and others chosen for damnation, and yet God still holds people responsible for their sins. I mean, anyway, that's pretty much all I'm going to share with you in this video. So have a good day, and may God bless you.